All right. So we finished the first question, right? And the second question. So now we're going to do a continuation, okay, of the inventory exercise. And of course, your inventory method is still periodic and it's LIFO. So in this case, you have information right here that says that on April 30th, you have a total of 600 units on hand, which we know to be true, right? We know that because we have it right here on our inventory worksheet. So what I'm going to do is I need to carry that 600 units over. Now in this case, we got lucky that it's all combined into one. Where the previous exercise, right, for FIFO, we had to carry two batches of inventory over. In this case, you can't combine it because again, what if it's milk, right? What if the product was milk? You can't combine things that expire on certain days and batches that you've already purchased separately, right? You cannot combine them. But in this case, this one all comes from one batch of inventory. So it's much more easier to go ahead and transfer over to our new inventory worksheet. Okay, so we got 600 at 510, giving us a grand total of $3,060. So what you can do here is we're going to go ahead and go on to the right side under our inventory on hand and acknowledge we have 600 units at $5.10, which should give you a grand total of $3,060. Okay, so again, format it how you'd like. And of course, this right here is the totals. So in this case, I only have one batch of inventory. So I'm going to put in my totals like that. Okay. So then now I can go ahead and continue with my inventory scenario and be able to do the rest. Okay. So starting with, okay, May 5th, okay, it's up to you. You can choose to practice the journalizing. So let's go, we'll go ahead and practice it. Okay, so on May 5th, we purchased 500 units at $6.25 each with a freight of 50. So let's go ahead and practice journalizing that transaction, okay? So it's May 5th. We purchased 500 units at 625 with a freight of 50. So how would I practice journalizing that I purchased inventory? How would I practice journalizing that I purchased inventory?
Would you do the purchase price?
Purchase expense.
Yes.
What else? If I purchased my item at 500 units
500.
at 625, what else do I need to include?
Uh, the freight expense.
You need to have a freight expense. Good. So the freight expense was, I believe it was $50. So here's what I have written on here. Assume, oh, where'd it go? Okay, I guess it didn't. Just go ahead and assume that you are making purchases on account.
Okay, that'll be, and next would be accounts payable, right?
Correct.
And that would be $3,175.
Yes. Okay. And of course, you can make a note saying that purchase 750 units at $5.75 each. Or, sorry, $6.25 each.
Okay.
Right? You don't need to put in how much the freight cost is because it's straightforward. You already journalized that you had freight expense. Okay, so let's go ahead and pop that into our inventory worksheet. So again, this section right here is for purchases only, not inventory on hand. So you do not touch that anymore. Once you transfer your beginning inventory, that's it. So now I need to take care of how many purchases I've made. So in this case, it's May 5th. We purchased 500 units at $6.25 with a freight of $50. Okay. So in this case, we already know what quantity times unit price is, or purchase price is, 3,125. Total cost is going to be the purchase price plus the freight. So you're at $31.75. Now the one thing that we need to do is solve for the cost per item, which is your total cost divided by your quantity. So in this case, what is my cost per item for this particular batch of inventory?
$6.35.
Good. Okay. So then let's see what happened next. May 10, we end up purchasing 800 units at $6 each with a freight cost of $80. Okay, so in this case, you can also have the choice to plug it in so you can save yourself some extra time from having to journalize or calculate twice. Okay, so you got 800 units at $6 with a freight of 80. So in this case, what's my purchase price here?
Okay, the purchase price, I mean, the total cost would be, oh boy.
First purchase price and then total cost.
Okay, 4,800.
4,800 plus 80 will give you a total cost of
4,880.
good. Okay. So then, what's going to be my cost per item now?
$6.10.
Good. Okay. Now again, now that I solved for this, right, I can now go ahead and also plug in into my journal. Right? So how would I recognize that I just purchased inventory? For the
Okay.
800, yeah.
Okay, you would do the purchase expense,
Okay.
freight expense,
Okay.
and that would be accounts payable also.
Mm-hmm. And what are my numbers involved? So it's the same one. We purchased 800 units at $6 each. I'm sorry. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, hold on.
We solved for it in the inventory worksheet.
Mm-hmm. Okay, 4,800,
And how much was my freight?
and your freight was 80, and the accounts payable would be 4,880.
Excellent. Okay. So again, you can utilize that as well. If that's something that you want to take a shortcut on, you can go ahead and do so. So I'm going to also make a note here that I purchased 800 units at $6 each. Okay. Next scenario here says on May 20th, we end up purchasing 300 units at $6.15 each with a freight of 15.
Okay, you said 300 units at what price?
$6.15.
Okay, that's 1,845.
Good. Plus
And
15.
1,860.
Good. So that will give you your cost per item to be. You're going to take the 1860 divided by 300.
620.
620. Good. Okay. And then we're going to plug in our numbers again. So in this case, you're going to notice that it's going to be identical journal entry, right? Only difference
Right,
is your numbers are different.
right.
So this is 520, right? We got, what was it, the 300 times 615, and then we got the $15 freight to give you your total of the 1860. Okay, and of course you gotta modify your note here, saying you purchased 300 units at 615 each. Okay. Last one we have here is May 25th. We purchased 100 units at $6.30, and the cost, the freight was $5. So 100
Okay,
units at $6.30 and a freight of $5.
okay, that'd be $6.30,
Good.
and it'd be 635 for the total cost.
Mm-hmm. And the cost per item,
635.
$6.35. Okay, and again, you're gonna plug that into your journal once again. So again, if you're going to be using Excel, as you could see, you're generating the information much more quickly. Okay? And the ability to copy and paste is also um, much more easy to do too. So the last thing that we have here is that May 30th, you have a grand total of 400 units on hand. 400 units on hand. So in this case, that is something that I know. I have 400 units left. So now I need to solve for the rest of the total costs and things like that. So in this case, I need to figure out what my totals for my purchases of inventory. So I'm going to use the same colors here. So yellow. Okay. So in this case, how many items did I purchase in grand total? So I got 500 plus 800 plus 300 plus 100.
1,700.
You purchased 1,700. Okay. What is my total purchase price? If I had 3,125 plus 4,800 plus 1,845 plus 630.
10,400.
10,400. And my total freight? So 50 plus 80 plus 85 plus 5.
That'll be 130.
Try add 15 more.
150.
Oh, okay. Let's see what I did. Is it 645?
No. So 50 plus 80.
150.
Yes. Plus 15 plus 5 will give you 150. Okay. And then your total costs here should be 10,550, right? 10,400 plus 150 is going to give you your 10,550. Sorry. Confusing number. All right. So now that we have those totals, okay, so let's go ahead and pop them into our inventory worksheet here. So right here, right, we said that you're going to get these numbers from above. So you got purchases of 1,700 at 10,400, okay? No returns and allowances yet. So therefore, right, returns and allowances, it decreases your purchases. So in this case, nothing happened. So therefore, nothing happened. Okay? Your freight, right, adds 0 to quantity, but it adds to the cost, right? We have here 150. So since we add those values up together, you should still get the 1,700 at 10,550. And again, this is just so then you can match your numbers together. Okay? But if you have returns and allowances, it will not match. Okay? So now that we have this, we know that this is our net purchases and we will be carrying it over. Okay? Now, do we have beginning inventory?
No.
So in the very beginning of the the month, right? We didn't transfer anything over from the previous inventory worksheet.
600.
We do have inventory on hand right here.
Okay.
So yes, we do have beginning inventory. And I'm going to highlight this. I think I used red last time, right? Because this is where I'm going to transfer all this information into this beginning inventory section. So I have 600 units here. So by beginning inventory, because on April 30th, what did I carry over? The 600 units
Yes.
at $3,060. Okay. Excuse me. And then I have my net purchases that I sold from above. I'm going to carry that down. Okay, so this is green. Okay. So then now, how do I calculate my total goods available? I just simply add them up. So how much do I have available to sell? 2,300 at a grand total.
$13,610.
It, correct. Good. Okay, so now, once again, I have 23 units available, 2,300 units available to sell, and I'm only left with 400 units. So my assumption is I must have sold how many?
1,900.
You sold 1,900. So once again, let's build our cost of goods sold table here. So I'm creating my running balance here, which is just an equal sum formula, so I know how much is being added up for every column I have here. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the process of elimination here. So here are my batches of inventory, right? I have what I purchased. I also have my beginning inventory. Now, using the rules of LIFO, which batch am I going to eliminate first?
May 25th.
May 25th, right? That 100, right?
Right.
Now in this case, I'm getting rid of all of it, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it is currently at 6:30. So 635. Okay, so I got rid of my first batch of, or I got rid of my first 100. I have to sell 1,900, so I need to keep going. So what's the next batch of inventory I'm going to eliminate?
May 20th.
May 20th at 300, right?
Right.
So May 20th at 300, which cost me $6.20, right? But I already know what that whole entire amount's going to end up with. It's going to end up with the 1860. Okay? 1860. What's next?
Uh, May 10th.
May 10, 800, right? Am I going to take all of
Right.
it or some of it?
Oh.
You're going to take all 800 units. Okay? And right now that costs me what? $6.10. So that's going to give me a grand total of 4,880. Okay? Now let's see how much I'm at right now. I'm at 1,200. I need to sell 700 more. So in this case, I need to keep going. So what's my next batch of inventory?
500.
The 500s. In this case, I'm going to eliminate that 500. Okay, at that what $6.35. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
giving me that 3,175.
Right.
And then I'm at 1,700. I need to get to 1,800 to 1,900. So that means how many more do I need to keep selling? 200. And I only have one batch of inventory left, which is my beginning inventory. I have 600 left in my beginning inventory. My cost per item is 510. So I need to figure out what 200 units at 510 is going to equal. In this case, it will give me $1,020. So let's see how much I racked up here. I racked up a grand total of $11,570 for my total cost of goods sold, right? Because I sold all 1,900 units, right? Right? And now, what do I have left over?
Got 400 left over.
Okay, so I had 600 minus 200, which means 400. It's currently at 510 because I still have my beginning inventory left over, right?
Right.
So that's going to give me a grand total of 2,040. And I'll be able to also solve that by taking my goods available minus my cost of goods sold, and I get the same exact answer. So once again, this is blue to recognize where my ending inventory comes from. Okay. Awesome. Right? All right. So last but not least, we need to do a conversion entry. It's May 31st. What do I need to recognize for my conversion entry?
Okay, your inventory.
Your inventory.
Okay, for the inventory, would that be the 400
The
that's left?
correct. 400 at how much?
Uh, was it 510?
400 at 510, which equals?
2040.
Yes, so remember the rules of journalizing, right? It has to be in terms of total value. I can't put quantity in here.
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, total value is 2040. And what else do I need to recognize?
Cost of goods sold.
You need to recognize the cost of goods sold. How much was my total cost of goods sold?
$11,570.
Good. What else do I need to recognize?
Purchase expense.
Okay. Which was for? What was the total amount of my purchases?
10,550.
That includes freight. We have a separate 10,400. Good. We're going to end up separating the freight anyway. So in this case, we need to also recognize that we had freight, which was that 150, right? Okay. So let's go ahead and run my formula real quick just to ensure if my accounting is correct. So I have 13,610 on the left, and I have 10,550 on the right. I am missing a credit, right? Now let's
Right.
determine what that credit am I missing. Let me see, 13,610 minus 10,550. I'm missing exactly $3,060. And where have I seen this number before?
Your beginning inventory balance.
Your beginning inventory balance right here for 3,060. So that's one thing that you have to remember. If you have beginning inventory, you're going to have to credit it at the end of the day. Okay? So again, You could do this. Now, in accounting, it's actually wrong. Your inventory is going to, your inventory here in the very first one, your ending inventory, is the same exact account as your beginning inventory, okay? Before this class, just to help you remember which one is which, just remember, you're always going to be debiting your ending balance, okay? Because in this case, right, we're putting it, we're increasing the inventory, right?
Right.
Where your beginning inventory, you're taking that inventory out because you're combining it together with all the purchases that you have so you can sell out your items. So in this case, you're decreasing your inventory in the very beginning. So you have to remember that. And then last but not least, conversion entry. For periodic inventory, okay, we had ending balance of 400 units and sold 1900 units.
Okay, you gotta take one of those zeros out on the 4,000.
There we go.
Okay.
Awesome. So that is how we do our inventory worksheet. Now, if this color coding isn't something that you want, you can color code the actual inventory itself. That's what we're going to be doing for the review. I'm going to actually start putting the colors on the inventory batches that we purchased, because in this case, at this point, you should get the idea that where the numbers are deriving from for this column right here. So I'm not going to no longer use them anymore. I'm going to use the colors for the actual inventory purchases because, again, when we return our items, we have to adjust each and every batch of inventory. All right, so that's just a heads up there. So again, if you prefer no color coding, again, your worksheet is your worksheet. Okay, I'm only just showing you here so that when I do post the answers on the Google Classroom, you're not going to look at it and be confused, right? It's pretty straightforward, right? The yellow matches with the yellow, the red matches with the red, the green matches with the green, the blue matches with the blue, and the orange matches the orange, right? Straightforward. That's what I'm trying to tell you here. Okay? So let's go ahead and quickly go over the exercise 2 here, okay? Just so that we can just, again, practice calculating more so than actually doing everything else. Because, again, journalizing is rinse and repeat. You're using the same exact accounts. Only difference is the numbers that you're calculating are different. And here, so I've already plugged in all the work for you. So now all you need to do is determine to me how much each value is. Okay. So for instance, number 1, or in this case, on June 1st, we purchased 1,250 units at $1.08. So what is my purchase price here?
$1,350.
1,350, okay? Plus a freight of 150 will give you a total cost of
1,500.
1,500. So now I need to solve for my cost per item. So the 1,500 divided by 1,250.
$1.20.
$1.20. Now, this is where I am actually going to have you make sure that you verify that that went through evenly. How would I do that? Well, as you can see, I'm going to be stretching out my number of decimal places, because this is what I was talking to you guys about yesterday, is that you will come across, especially tomorrow, you will come across numbers that do not go into each other evenly, and we call that unrounded. Now, if you're selling thousands and thousands of units, whether it's per day, per week, or per month, or just in general, right? If you round off too early, you're potentially hurting yourself as a company because you're losing out in profits there. Okay? What do you mean by that? Well, let's take a look at another example and I'll show you what I mean. So let's go ahead and continue on with the rest, and I'll tell you what it means when we get to a number where you have the ability to either round or not round. Okay? So let's go ahead and take a look at the example number 2 here. On June 5th, we purchased 850 units at $1.10 with a freight of 100. So what's my total purchase price here?
Okay, that'd be 935.
Plus 100.
1035.
Okay. So now what's my cost per item here?
120. 121-764-70588.
So this is exactly what I'm talking about, right? You can tell the difference between a rounded number and an unrounded number, right? In this case, the first scenario that we did already, there's nothing but 0, 0, 0, 0 zeros afterwards, right? That means this number went in evenly, right? Because it stops at the 2 decimal places. Now, this is $1.20 each. Now, let's take a look at my second one, right? I'm at 1.217647. Now, if I choose to round, how much is it going to cost me per item? What's the rules of rounding your pennies?
122.
It'd be $1.22. Now, that's what it cost you. Now, if you sell your product at $5, right? Comparing yourself for that $122 that you cost yourself versus 1.21764, you would be losing a lot of money in profits. Now, I'll show you an example down below, okay? So we have the same exact one. Let's say, how many items did you purchase? You purchased 850, right? So let's say you sold 700 units, right? And we'll do both scenarios side by side. One of them, you chose to not round your decimal, and one of them, you chose to round your decimal, okay? Now let's go ahead and figure out what my formulas are, okay? So one of them, you costing yourself at $852.35, while the other one, since you rounded up, you end up costing yourself an extra $1.65. So you just lost $1.65 worth of profit. Now, especially for a small business, that's huge. Because if you're selling thousands and thousands and thousands of items every day, imagine how much it would accumulate. So just because it's $1 for this one batch of inventory, what about the next batch of inventory that you sell? So this is exactly why you have to make that executive decision. Are you going to choose to round your answers up now, or are you going to choose to round your answers at the end? And for this class, because we are a small business, we are trying to eliminate every single possibility of lowering our costs to every single penny. So including a tenth of a penny, a fifth of a penny, it doesn't matter to us as long as we get the most accurate answer. So in this case, I would choose to round my answer at the end. So calculate my um I will calculate my cost per item as a unrounded number, meaning I'm going to use as many numbers as possible. So in this case, I would use 1.21767. I would use that. Now, if you're using a calculator, if you want to produce the most accurate rounded answer at the end, then you're gonna need to punch in your calculator at least 6 decimal places. So meaning 2 1. So exactly how I have it displayed here, 217647 will give you the exact amount here. Okay. Now, do not, if you're using Excel, do not be fooled by the tricky part of this, because right now, because my numbers are unrounded, it's displaying and showing me that it is 35 cents, right? But if I extend that, it's actually 35 and 2/9. So this is where I'll be teaching you a formula called equal round. I'm not going to use it here because it's unnecessary, because they pan out even anyway. But I will show you this equation in tomorrow's class. Now, as you can see here, can you charge yourself or a company 35.297 cents or 294 cents?
No.
No, you can't. So that's exactly what I mean. So when we're rounding up our cost, we have to round it up to the nearest penny. Okay. So again, it depends on the company that you're working for. If they tell you, I don't care, just round all your answers up, then that's where you're going to be rounding all your answers from the very beginning. Okay. But again, as a small business, that can cause a lot of dangers, especially when you're overcosting yourself and losing out in a lot of profits. Okay. So that's an example right there of rounded and unrounded numbers. You would lose and 65 cents worth of profits if you choose to round early. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue on. So, part 3 here. Okay, on June 8th, we have 700 units at $1.09. So, what's my total purchase price here?
$763.
763 plus $85 worth of freight gives me a total cost of,
848.
okay, which will give me a cost per item of,
1.211.
1.21142.
okay, good, right? Another unrounded number. Okay. Next one, we got 800 or 1,600 units at $1.12. Purchase price here,
It's 1792.
1,792, and then plus $200 of freight.
1992.
Good. Giving you a cost per item of, you have 1.24 and a half. This is the most dangerous number you can ever come across, is a half of a penny, right? Because if you follow the rules of math, you know that if you have half a penny, you round up. Now, in this case, that's where the danger is, because if you round up for your cost of goods sold and you round up for your inventory, right? You would end up creating a invisible half penny or an invisible penny, and it can cause you trouble in a lot of areas. Okay? So that's something that you have to keep in mind. If you ever come across a split penny, you have to make that executive decision. Are you going to round up your cost of goods sold, or are you going to round up your inventory? Right? You cannot do both, because that's where the split penny and that invisible penny derives from. It comes out of thin air, right? So you can only round one of the two answers. You cannot round both. Okay, so that's just something that we have to keep an eye on. So next one, 600 units at $1.20.
720.
Plus $70 of freight.
790.
Okay, will give me a total cost per item to be, okay, 1.331666666666. Okay, Last one for this is going to be $1,200 at $1.25. Yes, did you need something?
1,500.
1,500 or 1,500 plus 150.
1,650.
1,650, which will give you cost per item of 1.3750. So another split penny. Okay. So now that we reached the end of the accounting cycle, as you can see, we reached the bottom of this worksheet. Let's go ahead and solve for our totals. So how many items did I purchase in grand total?
$6,200.
6,200. Excellent. Right? And I'll go ahead and do the math for you so um, you don't have to go through all that. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and extend my equal sum formula. And I should get a total purchase price of $7,060. Okay. Plus $755 worth of freight, giving me a grand total of $7,815. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and plug in our answers. So again, how many items did I purchase? 6,200.
6,200.
At a total of 7,060. Okay. No returns and allowances, right? It's empty
Right.
there, so that means if I subtract 0, it's still going to give me the same number. Okay. Freight, right, adds 0 to quantity, but it adds to the cost. So in this case, I got $755 worth of freight. So that should give you the same quantity, but give you a total cost of $7,815. And again, we use this to match our numbers. Okay. Now in this scenario, we didn't have any beginning inventory, right? I left it blank. Okay. So therefore 0 there. However, we're going to carry down our net purchases. So again, I think I was supposed to color that green. Okay. Here we go. So therefore, my total goods available is going to be whatever my net purchases is because I didn't have any beginning inventory. Okay. So then let's go ahead and take a look. How much should I have at the end of June 15? So June 15, you're supposed to have a grand total of 500 units. Okay, 500 units. So how many items have I sold? If I started out with 6,200 units and have 500 remaining, I must have sold a grand total of
5,700.
5,700 units. Okay. So now I need to go ahead and build my table here so I'm able to calculate my total cost of goods sold. So let's see how many batches of inventory I have. So 2, 4, 6. So I need space for 6 of them. 2, 4, 6 right here. Okay. And so using the rules of Lifo, which batch of inventory am I going to sell from first? 614 at 1200. Okay. What else?
$1.25. No.
Which one's $1.20? Oh no. Which okay, so now that I eliminated my first batch of 1200, which batch am I gonna sell from next?
The 12.
The 12 for 600. Okay. Which is gonna cost me 790. Okay. So I eliminated 1,800 units. I have a long way to go. So which batch of inventory am I going to sell from next?
610.
The 1,600. Okay. So I got rid of another 1,600. So I didn't even do my equal sum. So right now I currently have 3,400 units sold. So I need to sell quite a few more. Okay. So which batch of inventory am I going to sell from next?
6-8.
6.8 for 700, right? Okay. So, what else am I going to sell out next?
6-5.
6.5 for the 800. I'm going to use all of it because,
Yes.
yes, I need 57 and I'm only at 41. So, in this case, yes, I need to sell all of it. Right? Which is going to give me this amount here. So now I'm left with only one batch of inventory and I'm at 4,950 units. I need to sell 5,700. So what is my assumption? How many more do I need to keep selling?
750.
So I go ahead and 5,700 minus 4,950, 750. Now in this case, I only have one batch of inventory, right? I'm not going to sell all 1,250 units. I need to figure out what the cost per item is. In this case, it's $1.20. So, how much is it going to cost me to sell 750 units at $1.20? Okay, $848. So there's your answer. You got $7,163 that you have sold. Okay? Or once again, in this case, if you didn't want to go through all of that, easiest one that you could have done too is, well, you recognize that you're going to have 500 units at the end of the day, right? And we all know that in this case, if I'm going from bottom and making my way up to the top, that means my beginning inventory must be here within this first batch of inventory. So that means it's going to cost me $1.20. So in this case, I can also figure this out that 1250 minus 750 will give you 500 at $1.20, right? Would have given you a total here of $600. So you would have gotten 600 here. Oh, whoa, wait, 652. What? $500. 652. What did I do here? Let's do some calculations again. Let's confirm that I did this. 7815. $12.50 minus should be 500. 500 at $1.20 should give you six. Is this that's that right? I made an error and I can't find it. Excuse me for 1 second. So you got 500 at $1.20. Should be $600 even. 600. Okay, so the calculation is wrong in here then. Okay, yeah, there you go. 900 instead of this 848. So in this case, I'm supposed to get 7,215, which again, because I self-referenced it, making one minor change can actually ultimately change everything on your worksheet. And there you go. I got it, even 600. Right? So, there you go. And let's go ahead and do the last step here, which is to do the conversion entry. So here you go, conversion entry. So once again, date is going to be June 15. What I need to recognize?
Inventory.
Inventory.
Cost of goods sold. Purchase expense. And freight expense.
Okay. So let's go over the numbers. So what was the total value of your inventory, ending inventory? What was the total cost of your ending inventory?
600.
Mm-hmm. And the total cost of the cost of goods sold?
7,215.
Good. And then your
Purchase expense.
mm-hmm.
7,060.
7,060. And last but not least, freight. 755. And again, we need to double confirm that our total debits match our total credit. So in this case, I got 7,815 on the left, 7,815 on the right. And then you put your description as accordingly. All right, awesome. That is it for today. Any questions?